I'm better than every other girl in every area of MMA. MMA striking is different, and I think I'm the best at it.
Ronda Rousey, once the unstoppable queen of combat sports, is back in the headlines, not for a comeback, but for controversy. When rumors spread about her fighting on the historic UFC White House card, her answer was not a polite no. It was raw and brutal. "I am not fighting at the fucking White House. My kid needs pasta." This blunt dismissal shocked fans, added to her long list of clashes with critics, and reminded the world that Rousey's legacy is as controversial as it is legendary. But how did the invincible destroyer of champions, the woman who forced the UFC to create a women's division, become a figure mocked, criticized, and remembered as much for her arrogance as her achievements? To understand her fall, we need to rewind to the beginning, when Ronda Rousey wasn't just a fighter, she was a phenomenon. Before the downfall, there was dominance. Ronda Rousey's journey began not in the UFC, but on the Olympic stage. A bronze medalist in judo, she carried elite grappling skills into the cage, and what followed was unlike anything the sport had ever seen. From 2011 to 2015, Rousey became the face of women's MMA. She tore through every opponent placed in front of her, finishing 12 straight fights, 9 of them by her signature weapon, the armbar. She didn't just win, she obliterated. Kat Zingano finished in 14 seconds. Miesha Tate broken in under a minute. Alexis Davis crushed in just 16 seconds. Every fight became a spectacle. Fans didn't ask if Rousey would win, they asked how fast. Crowds erupted as referees pulled screaming opponents away from her iron grip. Her dominance was so overwhelming, the UFC had no choice but to create an entire women's division around her. Overnight, she became a global superstar, celebrated as the female Mike Tyson. Untouchable, unstoppable, invincible. But behind the roar of the crowd and the headlines, cracks were already forming. Ronda's greatness came from a single devastating skill, and in her growing arrogance, she believed that skill made her unbeatable. The world was about to find out otherwise. With each lightning-fast victory, Ronda Rousey's confidence swelled into arrogance. She wasn't just a champion, she told the world she was the best boxer alive, daring anyone to land a kick on her. She smiled smugly, certain no one could touch her. But the truth was obvious to those who looked closer. Rousey was a one-trick fighter. Her judo and armbar were lethal, but her striking slow, sloppy, and untested was a glaring weakness hidden behind quick finishes. Instead of fixing that flaw, Rousey fed the myth. Every interview, every press conference, she projected invincibility. Fans and media bought in. Sponsors showered her with money. Hollywood cast her in movies. She was more than a fighter. She was a brand, a legend in real time. But legends built on illusions don't last. The moment an opponent refused to play into her game, the empire would crumble. That moment came in November 2015, when Ronda Rousey stepped into the cage with Holly Holm. November 2015. UFC 193. 56,000 fans packed into Etihad Stadium in Melbourne. Millions more watching worldwide. Ronda Rousey entered the cage undefeated, untouchable, and unstoppable. Or so everyone thought. Across from her stood Holly Holm, a former boxing world champion, calm, patient, calculated. Where Rousey was fire and fury, Holm was ice. From the opening bell, the illusion shattered. Holm circled, jabbed, and slipped away from every desperate rush. Rousey swung wild punches, lunging forward like a rookie. Her armbar, the weapon that built her empire, never came close. For the first time, Ronda looked lost. By the second round, she was exhausted, chasing shadows. Then came the moment that changed everything. Holm unleashed a head kick, precise, brutal, final. The strike landed flush, and the invincible queen of the UFC crumbled to the canvas, unconscious. The arena erupted. The myth of Ronda Rousey was over, not just defeated, exposed. Instead of humility, Rousey offered excuses, concussions, bad weight cuts, sleepless nights. But no excuse could hide the truth. She had been dismantled, and the aura of invincibility was gone forever. After Holly Holm's head kick shattered her aura, Ronda Rousey disappeared. For over a year, she stayed out of the cage, her silence louder than words. But in December 2016, she returned, determined to reclaim her throne at UFC 207. The opponent was Amanda Nunes, a ferocious striker, calm under pressure, and one of the most complete fighters in women's MMA history. The stage was set: Rousey's redemption or her destruction. From the opening seconds, the answer was clear. Rousey charged forward, the same old plan: closed the distance, grabbed the arm, forced the submission. But Nunes wasn't fooled. She picked her apart with jabs, hooks, and precision strikes. Rousey had no defense, no head movement, no adjustment, just blind aggression. In 48 seconds, Amanda Nunes dismantled the former queen, battering her until the referee was forced to intervene. The crowd was silent. The once invincible Ronda Rousey had become a punching bag. Online, the reaction was brutal. Memes, mockery, and the hashtag #Ronda is done spread like wildfire. And this time, there was no comeback. Ronda Rousey left the octagon in silence. No interviews. No thank you to the fans. Nothing. The greatest female fighter in the world had fallen, not with dignity, but with denial. With her UFC career in ruins, Ronda Rousey looked for a second life, and she found it in professional wrestling. In 2018, she debuted in WWE. Fans cheered, arenas erupted. She brought real combat credibility to the scripted spectacle. And in her early run, she was a star. WrestleMania main events, championship gold. Ronda Rousey had found a new stage. But the same flaw that destroyed her in MMA followed her into wrestling: arrogance. In the UFC, she couldn't take a loss. In WWE, she couldn't take the booze. At first, Rousey embraced her role, but soon, when fans turned on her, as they do in wrestling's theater, she broke character. She snapped, calling wrestling fake and lashing out at the audience as ungrateful. It was a fatal mistake. WWE fans know the product is scripted, but respect the craft. By tearing down the illusion, Rousey didn't just insult the audience, she insulted the industry that welcomed her. From there, her run unraveled. Instead of being the future of WWE's women's division, she became a polarizing figure. By 2019, her star had dimmed, and in 2025, she admitted it herself. She's pretty much retired from professional wrestling, bitterly noting that WWE never delivered the storylines she was promised. Once again, Ronda Rousey had burned bridges, walking away not as a hero, but as a disappointment. Today, Ronda Rousey is far from the spotlight of the UFC or WWE. She's a mother of two, focusing on family life with husband Travis Brown. After the birth of her second daughter in 2025, she shared her fitness comeback, showing a new transformation, not for competition, but for herself. She's also turned creative, writing memoirs, a graphic novel, and contributing to a Netflix biopic about her life. But when it comes to fighting, she's made it clear she's not coming back. Years of concussions left her, in her own words, not neurologically fit to compete. She rose faster than anyone before her. She fell harder than anyone imagined. And in the end, her legacy is a cautionary tale. Talent can make you a star, but without humility and growth, even the brightest star burns out. If you've stayed with us through Ronda Rousey's rise, collapse, and controversies, you know her story is one of the most dramatic in sports history. For more journeys of legends who soared and fell, subscribe to Tales Script and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story.